Well, hello once again. This is me, Leonard Wells, broadcasting as usual from HASLINGDEN, some 30 miles or 50 kilometres due north of Manchester in the UK, on Tuesday the 18th of October 2011. This is my vlog for today. I'm catching up because when I tried to do a vlog yesterday, I found my Virgin broadband was down. When I phoned up at about midnight, I was transferred to an Indian call centre and told that the broadband was out in my area and would be fixed. This morning, lo and behold, it was fixed. Now today, although I live 200 miles north of Manchester, once a month I visit Kensington on some private business. This entails taking the bus, the express bus from Haslingden to Charlton Street in Manchester, then making the short walk to Euston Station and taking a Virgin train down to London, using my senior rail card, for which I pay £28 for a year, which gives me a third off. I get the return ticket to London for £46.20, which is not unreasonable. In addition, Virgin Trains are the only train company which allows me to use my senior rail card for peak travel. All the other companies insist that you're not allowed to use a senior rail card before 9:30 and after 4:30 up to 7, or whatever hours they decide constitutes peak travel. So I would find it very difficult to make the trip without the rail card. Now, I couldn't decide whether I was actually going to London today until the postman arrived, because I had arranged to have a very important packet delivered to me by special delivery, arranged to arrive before 9. You pay a lot extra for that privilege. Normally it's guaranteed to arrive before 12, but in this case I asked for the packet to be sent to me to arrive before 9, and it arrived at 8:45, and I would at that point decide, if it did arrive, to go to London, because there was something in it I had to take with me. So away I went. I was on the 9:51 express bus down to Manchester, and then the 11:15 train from Manchester Piccadilly to Euston, which arrived some 2 hours and 10 minutes later. I then visited the London Underground inquiry office on Euston Station and asked them to check my Oyster card. An Oyster card is a plastic card, like a credit card sized piece of plastic, which you can use for travel on the Underground, and it's like a like a credit card. You put so much in and you can travel up to that amount. If you follow my reasoning, you can make journeys until you've actually spent that amount. By using the Oyster card, you get a discount on the normal fare. Well, luckily for me, normally I take the Oyster card out of my little plastic wallet, in which I keep my rail card and any train tickets I'm using, and I handed her the wallet. Well, she noticed that I had a senior rail card, and she said, "Oh, you've not linked your senior rail card to your Oyster card. You can now get a third off." Well, I've been using this rail cards and going to London for donks and never connected the two in my mind. So with a bit of luck, I should be able to travel further for my money. Then, because the Northern Line from Euston, which I normally use to take me to the Central Line for my journey to Notting Hill Gate, unfortunately, the station I would normally alight at, Tottenham Court Road, is being refurbished and is shut, so the train doesn't stop there. So I couldn't use that to get to the Central Line, so I looked on the map and decided to use the Victoria Line to Oxford Circus, which I did, and it turned out to be a slight mistake. Now normally I walk from Euston to Euston Square, matter of about 150 metres if that, and take the Circle Line to Notting Hill Gate, usually often changing at Edgware Road, and it's a fairly short journey. But this time the distance from the to reach the Central Line when I got to Oxford Circus was horrendous. Up and down escalators and stairs and you name it. Oh, it took ages. But luckily for me, in both cases, there was a Victoria Line train waiting at Euston as I got onto the platform straight on. And the same thing happened when I got onto the Central Line at Oxford Circus. So it wasn't too bad, but it was just a long slog, long walk, you know, after a long 2-hour trip down from the north on the train. Anyway, I then go as far as Notting Hill Gate. I then walk down Kensington Church Street. I'm not going to tell you where to, that's private, but just to give you an idea of the complexity of the journey and how far you can get by trains, etc., in how short a time. Do my business in Kensington and then retrace my steps. But this time, coming back, I took the Circle Line to Edgware Road, changed trains there, got off at Euston Square, and I was on the 3:40, the 15:40 train from Euston to Manchester. 2 hours and 8 minutes approximately. Now, when I got to Manchester, I walked to Chawton Street for the express bus, and it arrived at just after 6. I arrived there about 10 to 6 and it arrived just after 6. Do you know how long it took? The bus took 90 minutes for less than 20 miles. Over an hour to get to the motorway going up at Prestwich from Chawton Street. Horrendous. The traffic in Manchester is almost gridlock at that time of the day. Terrible. I mean, it took me 2 hours and 8 minutes to do 200 miles from London and 90 minutes, only half an hour less, to do less than 20 miles to HASLINGDEN on the bus. Now, these Pendolino trains of Virgin between Manchester and London, they travel very quick, up to I think it's 125 or 135 miles an hour at some stretches, but they tilt so that they don't have to slow down at the bends. And believe me, if you haven't travelled on one, it's quite an experience. If you happen to be walking down the corridor when it tilts, you suddenly find that it's as if you've just had 3 stiff double whiskies, and you start swaying and leaning sideways and moving sideways. I've several times nearly fallen into somebody's lap. Now, I happened to go to the toilet at one of the stretches which was very fast, and of course in the toilet there's no windows, so you don't know what's happening outside except that you're going very fast. And having used the toilet, I went to wash my hands in the sink, looking into the mirror like I'm looking into the camera now, put my hands out under the tap, and then suddenly the train tilted, which way I'm not sure, but whichever way it was, I suddenly found myself thrown backwards and my back hit the door handle of the toilet door, and it was quite a shock because there was nothing to indicate to me that the train was about to tilt. nothing to grab, since my hands were underneath the tap. There was no rail or anything with which to grab to steady myself. It was too late. Now, although it did sort of incapacitate me, my back does feel slightly uncomfortable tonight, and I've emailed a complaint to the customer service department of Virgin Trains about this happening. Because for somebody at my age, it's more dangerous travelling on their trains, it seems, than travelling by plane. Although I can imagine there could be turbulence of such a horrendous degree that I could be seriously injured if I happened to be not strapped in at the time. But this happening on the train today was quite alarming, actually. Quite alarming, because you don't expect it. At my age, your thought processes and reactions are not as quick as usual. Well, I've waffled on and on and on and on, I'm sure it's a lot of hot air as far as you're concerned. I hope it's of some slight interest. I'll keep you posted as to what Virgin's reply is. I had a lot of things to do with Virgin actually lately. While I was in Romania, for example, I use Virgin mobile phones. I have 3, but they're all pay-as-you-go. And when I go to Romania, I take my mobile with me and I use it out there to keep in touch with my girlfriend, and for any emergency phone calls from the UK, I can be reached. Now, while I was in my hotel in a city called Gura Hamorlwi in the far north, I noticed that my credit on the phone, pay-as-you-go phone, was about to expire. So I called their line, which you can top up on, the top-up line, automatically. Told them I wanted to top up rather, by £15, and the recorded voice said, "Sorry, we're having technical difficulties." So I tried it again, in case it was just a blip, and this said the same thing. Well, this alarmed me slightly because A, I'd never heard it before, and B, I thought maybe their expression technical difficulties might be a polite way of saying that my bank had declined my debit card payment of 15 quid. So I decided to phone them. Now, when you phone them, it says we charge you £2 for this call, which I think is a little bit over the top when you're ringing to ask for help. And I told the lady who answered, and she confirmed they were having technical difficulties and that she tried to top up and couldn't. I said, "Don't you think it's a bit rich that I should pay £2 in order to get in touch with you when it's your problem, not mine?" And she agreed with me. So 3 or 4 days ago, or more now, I sent an email off to Virgin Mobile asking for the £2 back, because they did debit my account with £2, and we shall see. I'm not prepared to put up with it, actually. If they don't give me the £2 back, I intend to ask for the 3 PAC numbers, and I'll switch to another company, maybe T-Mobile or whatever. I'm tired of being taken for a mug, you know, at times. I mean, it's bad enough having to pay when you ring up to complain that your broadband service is down and they use an 0845 number, which means that not only do you pay, but they make a profit out of your call, which I think is a bit much, all things considered. I mean, I'm almost tempted sometimes to get an 0845 line myself, so if ever they want to ring me, I can make some money out of them. I think it's just taking the Michael, as we used to say when I was a boy, taking the mickey. Well, that's Virgin Trains and Virgin Mobile, 2 I've got complaints with. And Virgin Media, I've been talking about the 50 mega burger service, as I call it, which I've had for now for 2 or 3 weeks. And twice, within 4 days, there has been an outage. So if this is what happens when you have the 50 megaburger service, then I'm not happy and I'll ask to be reverted to 10 megaburgers. But we shall see. I will let you know. If no more outages, then I'm willing to stay with it, because the upload speed is magnificent with this 50 megaburger download speed. You get 10 megaburgers, I beg your pardon, 5 megaburgers or megabits upload speed, excuse me for burping. So that's 3 different Virgin companies: Virgin Media, Virgin Mobile, Virgin Trains. Not much. I never fly to Florida, so I'm not likely to be complaining about Virgin Atlantic. So that's it for now. God bless, while it's still legal here in the UK to say God bless. Take care. Bye for now.